Welcome to the Chris Hanna Show, where business, as usual, gets a swift kick in the ass. If you're tired of the same old advice and ready to disrupt the status quo, you're in the right place. I'm cutting through the noise with bold strategies, unfiltered truths, and a no-nonsense approach to entrepreneurship, video marketing, and content creation. Buckle up, because it's time to level up, stand out, and dominate your market. This isn't just another podcast, it's a wake-up call for entrepreneurs and would-be aspiring solopreneurs who are all in. Let's get started. All right, let's talk about something that I don't think enough people talk about when it comes to entrepreneurs. You see, we're going to dig into one of the rawest truths, I think, as an entrepreneur and definitely as a solopreneur. Entrepreneurship is lonely. It is very, very challenging to be a business owner in general, but is a lonely space to be in. You see, you could crush every major milestone. You could finally land a big client. You could launch the great hit new offer. Maybe you surpass revenue goals. But when that happens, sometimes there's no one to high five. Yeah, maybe in my case, I could tell my wife about it, but it's not her thing. Sometimes you hit a wall and things feel heavy and you look around and you realize, man, no one gets it. You see, the highs and lows and everything in between, you feel it. I feel it. I think entrepreneurship, at least for me and for many people that I've talked to, is lonely as hell. Not because we don't have people in our lives, but I think it's because a lot of people don't understand the path that many of us are on. So today I'm going to talk about something that I think will help save your sanity. I know it's something that I need to continue to foster and to focus more on, and that's ultimately building your own crew. I'm talking about the mentors, the peers, the collaborators, the people who might call you on your bullshit, that help make the journey not just bearable, but ultimately sustainable. You see, when I first went full-time into building my businesses, I had this rush of adrenaline, freedom, control, my own hours. But after a while, the high wears off. Suddenly, every win felt hollow. Every loss felt 10 times heavier. There wasn't a team. My entire career, for almost 20 years, had been about a team. Building and leading teams across multiple industries, having 500 plus people that I've hired, led, promoted throughout my career. I've always been a leader of teams, but building a business on my own, working by myself, for myself, I didn't have the team. I didn't have the colleagues. I didn't have anyone to really, truly bounce ideas off. Those in my life didn't really get it. I'd vent about stress or celebrate a win and hear things like, must be nice not to have your own boss, or, hey, you should take a vacation. Well, at least you're doing what you love. You got nothing to complain about. People meant well, but maybe they just didn't get it. And as time went on, the more isolated I started to feel, the more I started to second guess everything. And then I started to realize that maybe I don't just need clients when you're running a business. Maybe I need to find a community. So I started being more, I'm going to call it intentional. I started joining business groups. I started going to more local business events, networking events. I started just sending cold DMs to people who I saw were building the type of businesses that I wanted to build, but not in my city. And I started trying to build more relationships with people, even if they were my competitors. See, I wanted to surround myself with people who were in it, people who'd been through it, people who could say, me too, and actually mean it. And I think that shift started to change things for me. You see, entrepreneurship, like I said, can get so damn lonely. There isn't really a way to prepare you to be an entrepreneur. Sure, you can learn a lot, by reading books and watching courses, and hell, today's world, ChatGPT or AI of some sort can help you. But at the end of the day, you have to figure it out, and that's through experience. Being alone or feeling alone as a business owner, though, can be dangerous, right? Because being a business owner can definitely affect your mental health, can affect your decision making, can affect how well you're going to take care of yourself, or how long you're going to focus on trying to grow, and really your overall longevity in business. Like it's really tough when you feel so alone. Because I don't think many people understand your problems as a business owner. I do this often where I'm talking to, say, family or somebody that I know. I tell them about some of the stuff going on, some of the stress. And I think that maybe they think or perceive me as exaggerating. But they don't see the sleepless nights, the client fires that I'm fighting, the cash flow stress, which is always, a thing, the pressure to perform, to deliver, to answer people back and clear your inbox and respond to this text. And did I get back to everyone? Did I deliver everything I was supposed to do? The busier I've gotten as a business, the more complex everything has gotten. Like, yes, I'm the visionary, but I'm also the operator, the marketer, right? I am the person who's ultimately responsible for it. And while I have team members, I still have a level of accountability. The thing is, all these different roles that you're still doing, especially when you're first starting out as a solopreneur, you're doing it all at once. So it can be challenging. I think also, though, when you start to be successful, it also becomes more of a silent struggle too. You might hit a goal and maybe there's no one around you that truly understands how hard you worked to get there. Sometimes you don't even want to share it when you've had success because you don't want to feel like you're bragging. So that means your wins feel lonely too. There's been many moments where I've wanted to share publicly certain wins that have happened in my business, whether it's signing new clients that I've worked really, really hard to get for months, or completing a big project, or crossing a certain revenue threshold. But I don't share them because I think they'll come across as bragging. And I don't want to be too transparent about some of the challenges and or the positive stuff that's going on. So the line where I said just a couple of seconds ago, really, your wins get lonely, I think it's very true. Also, when you are, especially as a solopreneur, you start over-relying on yourself. When you feel alone, you stop asking for help. You maybe even isolate even further because you're trying to solve everything yourself because you just feel like no one gets you. I felt that way. And that's when burnout hits. It hasn't happened a lot, but it definitely has happened over the last few years, right? I've been building all-in content now for years. And it's gone through different iterations and changed and tweaked. And I'm kind of at this point now where, it's definitely has an opportunity to shift one direction or a different direction. I'm kind of at this pivot point where I have multiple paths ahead of me where I can take things. And, I think about from a burnout perspective is depending on which path I go could lead me down a burnout, kind of way. I wanted to be a solopreneur forever. There's definitely times where I want to still be a solopreneur, even though I have teams and staff and everything. Business, though, isn't really meant to be done solo completely. If it just feels that you're doing it, maybe you just don't have the right people with you. That was something for me to kind of recognize. So to build the right crew around you, here's something that I think will help. Be the first to reach out. Don't wait for someone to find you. Whether it's creators or competition or mentors, DM them. Join those Facebook groups, reply to stories, Ask to connect over Zoom if need be. Most people are just as lonely as you are. They're just pretending often not to be. So there are people that I have regularly connected with that I've never met in person, but I found them online and I just have conversations to talk about what's going on. Kind of a self-mentorship thing. Now, locally, though, wherever you live, build a local network that ultimately gets you. And by that, I mean go to events, sponsor shit, host small meetups yourself. In where I live here in Windsor, Essex, there are full of people who are building businesses. You just got to show up where they are. Your dream crew of people who are maybe great supporters of you might be one awkward hello away. I also believe in the power of odd numbers. And by this, I mean, whether it's a 3 or a 5 person close circle, get people together who, again, it's an odd number that you really trust so you can get an opinion on things, right? You're one, get maybe 2 other people to form a triangle, or 5 other people, or 5 people in total, I should say, that can help you from accountability, sanity check, or maybe a bit of a brain trust, that can be in the same arena with you, that can maybe help you as you talk about your goals, your, checking in with you regularly and you checking in with them, swapping resources. You don't need a massive network. I just think you need 3 to 5 people. You need the right people who can be with you. I like the odd number because if you are all collectively trying to decide something, having an odd number means there's a majority. Lastly, if you're trying to build your own crew and not feel like you're doing everything alone, hire help. You don't have to do it alone. Now, those who are long-term listeners of this show know that the first person who joined my business was my wife. I was so thankful that she did, and she recognized that I needed help. But it wasn't something that she loved to do, but she helped me. And then by having her, I realized, I should maybe outsource some more tasks. And, then I contracted with a local VA for a couple of months, got some help there. And then I realized, what I really need help with is actually the editing side. So that was huge, getting the editor to help offload some of that work. You got to figure out what makes sense for you. Like, what do you outsource? Again, to me, there's some admin tasks that I found draining. So my wife and or VA would help with that. And then I realized video editing was actually my biggest bottleneck. I could record a lot of stuff if I just uploaded it to a video editor and they could take care of most of it. Like, I'm still video editing. I do probably 20% of all video edits. I touch every video though, because I'm still reviewing everything. But then video editing can go. And then what I really need to do next is I need to hire someone who can take care of scheduling content. And then some of the admin stuff. Like, I'm not a person who loves doing admin work, and I kind of put it last on the list. But that's something that I need to kind of hire someone else to start to do too. Do what you do best and outsource the rest, really, more than anything else. It's going to save you energy, but it's also going to bring people along with you who maybe agree with your mission. Stop being just you and start being a team. Look, I get it though. Like, you're trying to build a business, and if you're trying to do it by yourself, well, you're probably just feeling like you're almost on an island alone. I got you. At the end of the day, you don't have to do it alone. At All In Content, we're there to help people too who are feeling like they're doing it on their own. Like, they can outsource their marketing to us, right? We can do the strategy, the structure, the execution of anything from a video and social media perspective. We're also now delving into more on the digital marketing side. We've for a few clients now, we've started to run ads. For a couple of clients now, we're actually managing all their website content as well. We show up and record their events too. Like, we're kind of full serve, agency in some respects for some clients. But it's like, that's stuff that they didn't want to do. So we can take that on. So that's just something, again, that is like, we're a crew for some other businesses that are out there. Look, being an entrepreneur is badass. It's awesome. Like, I love it more than anything else. It's freeing, it's fulfilling, but it's also, again, like I said, it's lonely. The pressure, the silence, the lack of understanding from other people. Again, you don't have to do it alone. You got to find the right people, your crew of people. But asking for help is a power move. It's not a weakness. I found it took me way too long to make that distinction. You don't just need support to stay sane. I think you need it ultimately to scale too. Look, if this episode feels like it's speaking to you, and maybe you want to speak to me about it, I'd love to hear from you. You know, you can send me a DM, you can send me a message. I don't want anyone to feel like they're grinding in silence. I've done that for far too long. Some people maybe need help, and maybe you need help, and that's okay. Again, this is the Chris Hanna Show. We'll catch you in the next episode as well. But again, find your crew and outsource the stuff that you don't need to do anymore. That's the way to move forward.
All right, that's a wrap for today's Dose of Reality on the Chris Hanna Show. If you're fired up and ready to kick some serious ass, then I've done my job. But remember, knowledge without action is just wasted breath. So what are you going to do? Sit around and let opportunities pass you by? Or are you going to step up and take what's yours? The choice is yours, but don't expect sympathy if you choose the easy road. If you've got value from today's episode, smash that subscribe button, leave a review, or share it with somebody who needs a wake-up call. Don't keep this gold to yourself unless you're afraid of a little competition. Stay bold, stay hungry, and remember, always go all in. Until next time, this is Chris Hanna signing off. Now go out there and take what's yours.